So you just started asking me questions that, were thought provoking and just kind of like, oh, you know what? I don't even know. Like simple stuff like, oh, what do you like doing? I don't know. I like drinking and going out. That's what I like doing. So that was pretty much it, man. Then, you built a rapport and you invited me to the church a couple of times. I was like, nah, let me just stick with the life group. Life group is good, man. I like this. And then finally I came. And
so for a while, it was more just like getting to know you.
Yeah. It was
kind of bringing you into this new community of people and
everybody was friendly. Everybody was cool.
When do you think we became like friends?
I think we became friends.
Yeah.
I think we became friends like after when I finally started coming to church, right? Because at that point, we had built a rapport, and I had trusted enough, the things that you were telling me that, I should come, I should try it, blah, blah. And in me trusting you, in my mind, how I work, in me trusting you, saying, you know what, yeah, I'll go, is how I feel like we started. Like that was me coming to church for the first time was the plan, right?
You put a lot of pressure on me.
Why you say that?
Now that I think about it, because you always said that kind of stuff. You would associate that type of, good atmosphere and trusting me.
Yeah.
And so you were like, if I see you smoking, I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was like, dang, I gotta be perfect, or he's gonna like leave the church.
I mean, so I understand that, and I tell everybody this, like, I attribute you to saving my life, and I know that was God through you.
Right.
But I attribute to you because you're the physical form here that said the words. I think for me, it's just like we had built such a rapport, and I saw the type of man that you were with your wife and with your kids. I started seeing like what I wanted, like in you. Like, man, I want to be like that. Like, I want to be a good guy. Like I know who I was. Just no, I'm not. Mm-hmm. I want to be a good guy, man. I want to like be able to do that with my kid and stuff like that.
Did you ever think you could?
No, because I had a lot of demons, and I grew up bad, did bad things, just product of my environment. And I always thought that the things that I did, there wouldn't be any like redemption for it, right?
They were unforgivable.
Yeah, like having an abortion, right? It's taking your life.
Yeah.
Like that, like doing that, I feel is like the worst thing. So when I think of, like I can be that person, and then I think about how I did that, and I was like, nah, because I'm sure he has never done that. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? So I start comparing myself to you, and maybe that may not have been the way I should have done it, but it's all I knew because, like, I don't have a relationship with my father. I started to look at you as that, like, my go-to. I would call you for, like, little stuff. James, what do you think about this? Like, I started trusting your opinion.
You called me for little stuff?
Yeah,
you called me for
like, so you, outside of, being my mentor and the person that was, like, guiding me, I put you in that, like, father figure role because I didn't really have a father. And so, yeah, it came off like if I ever saw you with a bottle of Hennessy in your hand, I'm done. This ain't it. That all trust gone.
I'm glad that our first meeting was I'm glad it was through Life Group and not coming to church.
Yeah.
Because you probably would have thought, that ain't gotta be what's it really like. And you that kind of person, you like that, like, no, tell me the bad stuff.
So it's not tell me the bad stuff.
You like, he's like, no, I know you good and everything.
Yeah.
What's really
last time you stole something?
Yeah.
No, it's not tell me the bad stuff. So for me personally in my life, I work off connection, right? And I work off like reality. I can't see you doing everything perfect, and then I won't be able to.
You don't think it's real?
Yeah, it's like this isn't, and because I'm I've been in the world and I've seen the worst of people. In my mind, it's like, oh, he's just playing the shame. Like, this ain't serious.
Was there anything that I did that you didn't think was real?
The whole story about how you and Tammy finally made it to your altar. I was like, you a liar.
Why you think
you a liar? I don't know. It sounds like a Disney movie. It sounds like a black Disney movie that they haven't made yet.
Maybe we can pitch it.
But yeah, so it's not like, oh, tell me your business. It's like I need to know that you're real, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to know like.
But real to you is like
Real to me is a connection.
Dirt. Show me your dirt.
I guess when you say it like that, when you say it like that, it sounds a little crazy. Show me your dirt. But yeah, man. I just need to know that this situation is real. I need to know that you're a real person, and it's not like you're super perfect and I'm divulging everything to you and blah blah blah, right? And you're like, I'm perfect. That doesn't work off. Like I remember when you told us a story about how Tammy caught you at Target. And you spoke in class. I was like, yes, that's my dog. Finally. But yeah, man, I just work off connection. I work off connection.
Yeah.
I work off emotion. I'm an emotional man. You know.
So about connections. Looking back, what do you think were some of the more challenging times of our connections?
Man, just me not doing what you were telling me to do. Me not wanting to do it. I mean, you got to remember, like, I lived my life maybe.
Well, you didn't do it because you didn't believe in it.
Yeah,
it was like, oh yeah, that sounds nice, but you don't know.
Because it was like, yeah, that exactly that. Like, yeah, but you don't know what I've been through. Mm-hmm. Or you're like, I always had a rebuttal, right? Instead of just listening and following.
Oh my gosh. we would stay out the life route after like till midnight.
Yeah. Just
in the driveway, going back and forth. I'm like, this knucklehead, what is his problem?
But you gotta remember, like, at 8, I would say the first time I felt hurt or pain was 8 years old, right? Mm-hmm. From then on, I lived my life. I clicked in that very moment, in that very situation. I didn't know what it was yet. I didn't understand it, but I knew that I didn't like how it felt. Mm-hmm. And from that very moment on, I took a path and decided to live my life the way I wanted to live it. And I was going to do the things that I wanted to do. And I was going to make sure that I wasn't going to feel, no one's going to make me feel like that again. Mm-hmm. And as you do that, I came to the church when I was 34, 35. From 8 to 34, 35 years old.
How old are you?
Business, dog.
Wait, how old are you?
I'm 39.
39. Oh,
yeah.
Ooh, creeping. Creeping on.
From 8
to... that's right, because you're a year older. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So that whole time span before I stepped into your house, I lived my life one particular way. Mm-hmm. And now you telling me that I have to live my life this way. Not that I have to, but all this that you were doing is completely wrong. This isn't what you're supposed to be doing.
You were doing everything. I don't.
And
the only thing you did right was say okay to Alberto, and you stepped into life. You showed up.
I did everything wrong, and I did everything to the extreme because my personality is that I get bored. Once I accomplish something, I go more. I push the limits to see how far I can get. Yeah, I get bored easily. And in my life at the time, with the money that I was making and all that, and how old I was just doing crazy things. Mm-hmm. Everywhere.
That's how we can tell you're doing good. We get that BMW.
It's so ridiculous. I'm back at it. Back in these streets. No, it's not. But yeah, man. So sitting with you and then you telling me, scratch everything that you think. This is a clean slate. I'm like, I'm 35 years old. What are you talking about? Right? It's that. It's the shock. Right? Mm-hmm. Like cold water being thrown on you and you didn't know where it came from. Like, what? It wakes you up. You're like, oh. Then you start breaking it down for me. And that's when we started. I think my true connection with you, truthfully, was the first time you made me cry in my one-on-ones. That's when, because you got into my heart in a space where I don't really let people in. So doing the one-on-ones and you telling me, then I gotta like say all the bad things I did out loud. And doing it and saying it's like one thing. I'm like, everything? Like, yeah. And I had to write.
Your stuff had to be like punched through.
Yeah.
Because you weren't giving up nothing. You were like, I'm gonna be me, yeah, this is nice, and I like the atmosphere around here, whatever. But I was like, I had to shoot with you so straight. Like, and hit the target with a fist.
Yeah.
To break it.
Yeah, it's man. I think back at it in our one-on-ones in that room. And then used to ask me those questions. Did I watch anything I shouldn't have watched? So now during the week, I'm like, oh,
and remember the last question was what? Did you lie?
Did you lie about Eddie? He said, yeah. It's like, oh, this is a trap. The first time you asked me, I was like, oh, wait, what? And then now I know every week I come in.
Mike's eyes, his eyes do that. He'll be like, oh, I'm trapped. Where do I go?
What are you talking about?
I forgot those questions. Have you watched anything you shouldn't have watched? Have you done anything you shouldn't have done?
Yeah. It was
and then there was something else, and then the last question was: Did
I lie about anything?
You lie about any of the
answers? Yeah. I mean, and it was the accountability, and it was the truth. You know, the truth. Not everyone wants to hear the truth. In my mind, I thought I was good. I was a good man because when I would leave the strip club, I would give a bum $10. You know what I'm saying? Out of my heart, right?
Yeah, you're just good man.
I was a good man. I could wear singles, but I gave him a whole $10 bill.
Man.
I'm a good man. God know my heart, man. You know what I'm saying? But no, I'm trash. It was still
try to make yourself feel good.
Yeah.
Like you were, like feel like you was in a good place.
I mean, I didn't have anyone to keep me accountable. Like I was a life of
You didn't want accountability too.
I never had it before.
Yeah.
I've always done whatever I want. And so now I have to listen to someone. I mean, I don't have to, but I chose to, right? Like, if I'm gonna do this and come here every week and you're gonna spend your time with me, I gotta open up. I gotta be real. I'm gonna come here and lie. Like it's not gonna work. And I know what the alternative is. So what could be worse by coming here and just talking to you about stuff?
Do you remember? To me, this was one of the more frustrating moments with you. It was like,
so when I call you 10 o'clock at night?
Yeah, it was late.
Yeah,
it was like 10, 11. You was.
And you gave me the worst advice ever. Remember that?
You said you called me. You was hot.
Yeah, I was.
Because it was baby mama drama.
Yeah,
and
the old boy was.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my goons or whatever. Skinny Mike came out.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna beat him within an inch of his life. That's what you was. I will beat him within his life. And you were calling.
I don't put hands on people. I know people who do that, but
you were calling me, telling me this is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm gonna do. Yeah. And what I say?
Well, go ahead and do it. I was like, wait, what? I stopped being mad so quick. I was like, what? He's like, well, if you care, because it was the gentleman that was involved, and he was saying, things about my son and what he was going to do and how he was going to raise my son and all that. And that was a trigger for me. I was still learning how to control my emotions and not care about what people say in that matter. Yeah, man. And I called you 10 o'clock at night. You answered. First of all, I'm surprised you would answer. Second of all,
hey, my ringer's on.
You know what's so crazy? That before I called you, I did call some people.
Oh, so you was already playing with emotions.
Yeah, everything. Yeah, before I called you, I did call.
So why did you call me?
I don't know.
I just realized I didn't even think to ask. Why did you call me?
I don't know.
Because your mind was made up.
Yeah, it was. I hung up with you, and then I called them back, and then I just went to bed.
What'd you say to them?
Chill. I mean, it's pretty simple. You don't go along. Chill. It's all good.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that night. I was like, well, fine. Then go ahead and do it. Do it, Mike. Do it.
Well, then what's so crazy? You broke it. The way you broke it down to me was like, well, why do you even care? Like, who is he in your life to even care about what he's saying? And as I look back at that little moment in time could have gone left really quick.
Yeah.
Fast forward, I don't even know who this man is. I don't even know anything. Like, I don't.
We might not be talking right now.
He's not in my life. No, yeah, for sure. He's not in my life. He's not around. So in that very moment of time, I could have made a drastic decision that would change the story of my life for sure. I don't know why I called you. I think at that point I just relied on you for everything. Even when I know I shouldn't be doing something, I called you to make sure that I should be doing it.
So let me ask you this: how come there was what? How many times did you leave the church? Twice.
Yeah.
And one you just stopped coming. The other one you moved to Tampa.
Yeah, the last one.
That was a hit.
Yeah. The last one I just didn't tell anybody. Because I knew you. Huh?
Why did you leave?
I was still in a space where I wanted this one particular thing. yeah, I was listening to everything you were saying. I was doing all everything that I was supposed to be doing, but I'm still a human being, right? There's certain things that I still wanted, at least for my life, things that I didn't have as a child growing up.
Beard's full, right?
And I wanted to have that, and I wanted to be able to offer that to my son.
Mm-hmm.
And so I moved to Tampa with him and his mother. She got a job out there.
Was this before you? This was after you.
This was the last time. This was like 2-3 years ago when I was supposed to be Christmas. Christmas play, and I called you and said, "Hey,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, you was a punk for that.
Listen,
you was a punk for that, man. Oh,
it was a horrible decision for sure. But I've never had both mother and father in the same home.
Mm-hmm.
Right? My father wasn't around. Drugs and all that stuff. It was always my mother, and she's a single mother, so she worked a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I never had that family unit. And so in that moment when that was happening, it was offered. We can figure it out. We can move on. And that's everything that I ever. That's the one thing. Like, there's not really much that I really wanted it in that moment in time, but that is what I wanted. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I had a son. I could be with his mother, and we can be that. We can be that family unit. Like, I can right the wrongs my father did.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
My plan for you was always to build with you enough of a relationship where you would actually listen to wisdom and listen to truth. Because I don't think you were the type of guy to just, hey, I'm looking for something good. I'm looking for something. You're looking for a decent relationship, right? And so my next step was to get you connected to the church and connected to other people. Now that you were connected with Sean, right? And Vince,
mm-hmm.
That was it. You would not. You acted like we was a what they call fraternity, and no one else was allowed in the group. No one else could be a part of it because you didn't want nobody else knowing your business.
It wasn't that. I'm all about. At the time, I was all about no new friends. Right?
Yes, you were.
I found these two. We clicked like right away.
Because
we all had the same. We all had the similar story, right?
Man, y'all, just a side note, y'all fought me so hard on a lot of stuff. And you the only one who really stuck around. Why do you think that is?
I think it is because I looked at the bigger picture. I'm not saying that those gentlemen didn't. Everyone has their own life and their choices and decisions, but I know what I needed and I know what I wanted in my life. I know what I went through, I know what I needed, I know what I wanted. And sometimes the things that you say sound crazy and extreme to me because it's not the life that I live. Mm-hmm. But if I take away my feelings from that and just listen to your actual words, it makes sense. Mm-hmm. Right? Like when you say, don't stay at no girl house past 10. What you talking about? What you mean?
Now listen, that was wisdom for you.
Yes, but right?
Because I told you what was going to happen.
To me,
hold on a second. How many times did I tell you what was going to happen and you didn't believe me, but it ended up happening?
I mean, I gotta learn the hard way.
You finished up those season passes?
Yeah, that's done. Yeah, that's done.
You told y'all about that? Another day.
Yeah, another episode. To me, that sounds crazy, right? Like, what do you mean? Like, I'm not that person anymore.
And I also would tell you why. I didn't just say, don't do this. I said, I would tell you why.
Yeah, and you broke it down. So, I can't remember the exact words right now, honestly, but
you're like, let's look at him. I'm grown.
Yeah. And it was, but all of it, right? If I take all of it away, and I take away how I felt about it, it was boiling down to the truth of relying on your flesh, which is exactly what you shouldn't do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as in the beginning, when you were saying it sounds ridiculous, but as I fast forward, I mean, yeah, it makes sense. And you are the rather be safe than sorry person, right?
Yes.
That's how you are. So don't do it at all, so you're not put in this situation that may or may not happen. Hey, it may not happen. It may not happen.
Mhm.
You may be good and you leave and everything's fine.
Mhm.
But it may. So just don't do it at all. You're that guy. And I'm like, nah. What? I don't want to do the may and may not. Like, I have to like learn the hard way. So say something had happened, then I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm never doing that again. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I have to put my hand in the fire and I'm like, oh yeah, this is hot for real.
Mhm.
And so when you tell me or explain to me why I shouldn't do things, I listen now because it makes sense. And and in my life now, I'd rather be the don't do it at all, just in case person.
Mhm.
And so,
Well, it's because you know you now.
yeah,
You know you better.
I know me, I know my walk, I know the things that I succumb to,
You're an all
I know my
kind of guy.
thoughts. Yeah. And then as then I start serving in the church. Right? I start serving and as that
Table host.
table hosting and foundations and life group, which is the one thing I always told you I would never do. now I'm doing it. In doing that, you just build community, and then in building that, you realize that there are people that really care about you. Really, like when I backslid that last time, the 2 times that I backslid, a lot of people called me. Jose was actually one of the people that called me. Jose, Brian Norris, a couple of people called me. There's a couple of people that just call me out the blue. It's like, hey, people that I would never have thought that would reach out to me. Hey, what's going on? I ain't seen you today. Just want to make sure everything's good. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm good, man. So when I hang up, I'm like, man, it's that knowing that I can still be doing this horrible thing and making mistakes. But there's still people that care to reach out to make sure that I'm good.
Mhm.
It was that to where you just don't want to. You feel like you don't want to disappoint people, and it's not that you don't want to disappoint them. It's your conviction is kicking in,
Mhm.
but at the same time, you don't want to be the guy that's backsliding every couple of weeks. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And you got to learn eventually. At some point, you got to grow.
Mhm. There's some truth inside of you enough to mess with you.
Yeah.
When you start doing something wrong, you're like, oh.
Yeah.
So if you could hear yourself talking now, if I were to, when you first came to Life Group, if I showed you a video of this conversation, what would you say?
I would laugh at it. I would call him a cornball.
Oh yeah, what'd y'all call me?
We called you a lot of things. I can't really nail it down. We called you a square. We called you, man, because you just be the way you be describing things. Somebody told us a story about how you went down to a party or something.
Which one?
I don't know. It's just the way you describe it. Like, who says that? No one says that. No one describes it that way. So it's just, I know for myself, I had to get acclimated with you. Like, I in my whole life, been around people that rob, steal, sell drugs, kill, kidnap. Like, I've been, so to come around someone like you and the way you talk, like the slang is different, but you don't really talk slang like you talk proper, but been around a different breed of people. To come around you sometimes when you use the song, it's like, what are you talking about? It's weird.
Nah, I want to know what else y'all called me.
I don't know.
I know you call me Square.
Yeah, Square was a big one. But in the end, we grew. I learned, and I always say, you saved my life, man. Between you trying to be, not trying to, between you telling me the truth and all that in your nice way, and then Tammy busted in. What you do now? What you do? Hi, Mike. What you do now? Between you two, her giving me, talk about, women in that space when I'm in that situation and all that, and how that's not how I should be. That's not what I should be getting from a woman, and that's like it's more like what I feel and what is happening is not right. Like that's not how it's supposed to be, right? And then you breaking that down, taking it back to the word of how it's supposed to be and what it's supposed to be like, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, man, between the both of you, if I didn't get it, then it's because I just didn't want to get it.